Hello guys, it's Dave from the Fitness Formula. It is Wednesday, which is our weekly live questions and answer session. So as always, if you're watching this live and you've got any questions about what we're talking about today, please feel free to comment in the comment box. Hopefully it will show up my end. If it doesn't, I do apologize, but I will reply to your question straight after the video has been broadcasted. But I just want to answer a question that came to us from one of our current members Monday, I think it was earlier in the week. One thing that we do with our members usually before lockdown and everything happened are sort of monthly events. And throughout the past, we've done some amazing things. We've done mountain climbs. We've done Christmas parties and award ceremonies to celebrate people's success. We've done summer family fun days down at Upton Country Park and walks and sponsored walks and things like that. So we're always trying to keep people motivated and give them goals and things like that to look forward to. So our monthly goal for January, and we've actually planned something now for every month right up until Christmas to keep people focused and motivated. That's members, non-members alike. The goal for January was to do a 26-mile walk. And that is something anyone can do on their own or with a friend. Currently, we're still allowed to meet up with one person or as a family, a 26-mile walk. And one person asked, what sort of things would you eat for something like that? So this brings me to today's topic. We are going to talk about the best sort of foods and drinks you should be aiming to have with any form of exercise, whether that's a long endurance event like a long marathon or a walk or a bike ride or something like that, where you're going to be exercising for a long amount of time. What's the best things to eat to keep you going for longer? And also what's best to have on just a normal day where you might be doing an hour-long workout. If you're doing your Joe Wicks live, or if you're doing a home Zumba workout or club size or one of our live sessions, it's good to know what sort of stuff you should be eating to prepare yourself for exercise. So I've got some notes and there's things here that I want to go through with you. So one thing really, really important, and this will depend on the type of exercise you're doing as well, but also the time that you are having your workout. So to give you an idea, we run sometimes 4 live sessions a day, but they can vary between 9 and 15 in the morning currently online. If we were open in person, it would be from 6 a.m. and we close at 9 p.m. usually. Online, we're open from 9:15 in the morning. We run a session then, and then we do an evening slot as well for after work, 6:15 sort of time. So if someone was doing a morning workout, I would say it's vitally important that they have breakfast. You shouldn't really exercise on an empty stomach if you can avoid it. So having a breakfast a few hours before, 2 to 2.5 hours before, maybe 7 a.m., but something quite sustainable, something quite energetic, best sort of thing really, porridge, something like porridge or Weetabix or something like that, or a bit of brown toast even, because it's slow releasing. So something like that you're not going to burn off straight away, that will be in your system and ready for you to then utilize when it comes to your workout at around 9:15. So something about 2.5 hours before, fairly carbohydrate based, something fibrous, so it's got loads of stuff in there to give you the energy. And examples that would be porridge is ideal. So if you're going to exercise about 9:15, porridge all day long, or some brown bread with poached eggs on it, or something like that. Weetabix, again, ideal, but don't smother it in sugar. So that would be ideal if you're training about 9:15. If you're going to be having a workout or whatever in the evening, just follow your normal day. So make sure you're having breakfast, make sure you're having a mid-morning snack, a bit of fruit or something like that. Have your lunch, but try and include some carbohydrates in your lunch. So you want to be having something like a ham sandwich or any sort of pasta, rice, a jack potato, Warburton thins, a wrap, anything with a bit of protein in it if you can. And again, this will just keep you satisfied throughout the day. It will keep you nice and full. Afternoon snacks important. So if you're having a workout about 6:15 in the evening, you're not going to be having dinner before that. So a lot of people eat their dinner at 5:30, 6:30, up to 7 o'clock, whatever. Some people later, depending on your lifestyle and your job and that sort of thing. But if you're doing a workout at 6:15 in the evening, and you had your lunch, 12, 1 o'clock, had something at around 3, 4 o'clock would be perfect. But again, something fairly slow releasing, because you're still about 2 hours away from your workout. So something like a banana, banana's a really good slow release energy, good carbohydrates in there. It's going to keep you full up as well, but you're going to then burn that off in your session. If you miss that snack, what I would recommend is you have something fairly high in sugar just before your workout starts. So if you're about to do a 6:15 workout, you haven't eaten since 1 o'clock, 5, 6 hours without eating is too long. You need to have something just before to give you that energy spike. So something like a satsuma. Or a few grapes, an orange, something quite acidic but high in energy like that, because it's fast releasing and that's going to get into the system really quick, and then you're going to burn that and use that energy up when you do your exercise. So that's something that's, if you're doing a workout on the day, But slow releasing fuels are great for those more long endurance events. So if you are a marathon runner or a long distance runner, half marathons, or if you're a triathlete or a biathlete and you do loads of running events, or generally just go out and do lots of walking, then it's important that we fuel our bodies in advance. So there's something I want to talk to you about called carbo loading. I did this when I did my marathon years ago, never again. But carbo loading is really, really good if you're going to be going out for our January challenge. If you're going to go out and do a long walk, carbo loading is something that you actually start a day or two before the event. So if you're a rower, like a few of our clients are, or if you're a cyclist, or generally just someone that likes to get out there and do a nice long walk at the weekend, and you haven't done this before, just try it. So what you would do, say you were going to do your walk on the Sunday, I would ensure that Friday, maybe at some point in the day or the evening, you have a real high carb meal. So pasta is always a brilliant one. Potatoes are a really good one. Rice, throw some protein in there as well, just to mix it up. Some meat, some chicken, some turkey, whatever. So carbo loading. So what you do about 2 days before, you start bringing in more carbs, and that will store in your body as glycogen, which is what you're going to use for energy when you then come to do your event. So 2 days before, you're having more carbs than usual. The day before, you're certainly having way more carbs than usual. And then in the morning of that event, you would have your porridge. And then closer to the time, maybe something a little bit more fast release, like a bit of fruit. Again, satsuma, oranges, things like that, pineapple, grapes, you name it. Again, to fuel that long distance event, if you are doing these longer events and you are out walking, you might find that you need something just to kind of reboost your energy. So if you are out there and you're doing a really long walk at the weekends, you might sometimes hit this point where you go a little bit funny, a little bit lighthearted. You might just use up that glycogen storage. So you might just need to bring something on board. And there's a couple of things that I've written down that are really, really good. For example, jelly beans, jelly beans, jelly babies. I did this with my marathon training. If any of you have watched this and you've done a marathon, especially London, back when you could have tens of thousands of people watching you all the way along the route, constantly people handing you sweets. The amount of things that I was being handed out as I was running past people. In the end, it got a bit annoying because their arms were in the way. But people are handing out sweets, and now and again, it's great just to get that little bit of instant sugar in. So jelly beans, jelly babies, absolutely fantastic. And then you can also buy things like carbo gels. They're not a very nice texture. They're kind of like a paste, like a gel, but those sort of things that you can just sort of take. You see footballers doing this on the sidelines before they run back onto the pitch. Carbo gels, again, are really, really good for just reboosting your energy. So something like that's fantastic. And drinks-wise, obviously, you've got Lucozades and energy drinks and things like that. From my personal experience, I wouldn't recommend you take anything new. So if you're going to do this long 26-mile walk, or if you're somebody that's going to be running your first marathon or virtual marathon, or going out there and doing something for the first time, never experiment on the day. Best bit of advice I was ever given. Don't ever take something on the day that you haven't trialed in your training. So if you are doing a long distance event, don't all of a sudden go and buy a pack of 6 Lucozade and start drinking them, because the chances are you're going to have a really bad upset stomach from the amount of sugar in there. I'm not ruling Lucozade out, but personally, I think that's something you use, one, as a last resort. So when I did the marathon, I avoided it as much as I could. I didn't use it in my training, but when it got to the last 5 or 6 miles, I hit the wall and I went for the Lucozade stand. I'd managed to avoid it the whole 20 miles. And then I saw a Lucozade stand and I absolutely had to grab one. And thankfully, my body was so desperate for those electrolytes, which is what you lose when you sweat, that it just went straight into where it needed to. And I didn't have to waste it, shall we say. So don't try anything you haven't before. Lucozade and things like that are great for afterwards, again, for replacing those electrolytes lost through sweat, because it will just reboost your energy straight away and get it all back in the system. So I hope that helps. Other than that, things to eat after your training. So again, if you are doing a workout in the morning, 9:15, and you didn't have breakfast, definitely get some breakfast on board, ideally within 15 minutes of finishing. So sometimes people don't fancy food straight after exercise, but the benefits that can have to your recovery and your result is extremely vital. So give yourself something protein based would be ideal with carbs. And I mean things like, again, poached eggs on brown bread. I say that because that's one of my favorites, but that's really good after a workout. If you're weight training and you're specifically doing weights, a protein shake would be fantastic. If you're not someone that's experimented with protein shakes before, we can offer you any advice on that, when to take them, how much water to add to it, or milk, when's the best time to get it in the system. But general rule is, if you're going to have something for recovery, which is to obviously get in your muscles and to stop them from being so sore and to give you the energy back that you've lost from your workout, carbohydrates and protein, not just protein. You do want the carbs as well, because your body will utilize that better. So I hope that helps. I think that's all of my points here. Water, amazing for recovery. So get lots and lots of water on board after your exercise as well. And that will certainly help with any fat loss goals that you might have as well. So I hope that's been helpful. And if you watch this later on, it's been helpful, just put a little thumbs up in the box for me, or post any questions you have in the comments. And we do this every Wednesday at lunchtime. So if you've got any questions that you need answering between now and next Wednesday, please fire away, send us a message, comment in one of the groups where you're watching this from, and I'm more than happy to answer them at any time. And as always, if you need any help with your fitness goals, please reach out. We are still training people, albeit online for now, just to support them, to keep them going. So if you need any help whatsoever, whether it's nutrition, exercise, or just getting going, hopefully you know by now who to ask, and we're always there for you guys. So keep up the good work and stay focused, stay positive, and the finish line is in sight, and keep it going, guys. All the best.